Hello everyone, this is Chaff, and welcome to a video that I should have done a long time ago. First of all, I just want to say thank you to everyone who's watched all my Ed, and Eddie sound effect videos. I was not expecting them to get as much attention as they did. I was just trying to, make a good video, and then they just got popular. But yeah, again, I'm glad people enjoyed them. I had fun making them. And I figured I would, go through a bit of a process of how I make these videos. So this is how you Dork Souls. I'm using Dork Souls as the example here because I think it's probably my most ambitious one. And since this is most organized, I can more clearly illustrate how I do what I do when I make these. So, first of all, whenever I make one of these, I decide what bit of gameplay or cutscene or a boss fight I want to use as, footage. So, I don't know what it was. I guess it just came to me instantly. But when I thought of Dark Souls, I just thought, okay, it has to be Ornstein and Smo, but who's it going to be? And then just like that, I immediately thought of Kevin and Rolf. And then, obviously, for the Chosen Undead, it was going to be Ed, since I already had Eddie as Dante, and then Double D as the Hunter in Bloodborne. So, now that I decided what to do, I would get the footage. And I just want to say, for the record, okay, this footage is not from me, it's from Boss Fight Database, okay? I didn't record any of this. If it was my footage, it would be a lot worse because I couldn't beat these guys without summoning Solaire, alright? I admit it, I'm not that good at the game. So, what you're seeing here could have been a lot worse. So, you're getting the lesser of two evils with regard to gameplay footage, alright? So, we good? Just so you know, okay? I don't know what's up with this build either, but it's not mine. Just saying. So, now that we have the footage and we have the idea of what I'm going to do with it, the first thing I actually did was do all of the footsteps. So you see here I've got all the characters all organized and stuff. So we're going to go to the player character Ed and go down to the footsteps. And when I first did the footstep sound effects for Edborn, I was not expecting, I didn't think I'd end up doing it, but it seemed like without the sound of footsteps, the video seemed a bit more empty, I guess. Not as, I don't know, rich with sound, or I don't know, it just couldn't create the appropriate soundscape that I was trying to make. Now at first it might seem pretty repetitive to do because he had to do every single footstep whenever he's walking around. And it is a little intimidating at first, but once you figure out how to alternate them, it's actually a way easier because here's the thing, when your character is running, you have different running speeds. Like there's a speed when you're, just running forward, and then there's sprinting, walking backwards, and then walking, sidestepping. So once I knew how to space them out, I would like copy and paste a set of sounds for, okay, now you're sidestepping, now you're walking forward, now you're sprinting, and so on and so forth. And then I would just simply copy and paste those segments together until something changes, and then I would move them accordingly. And the thing is about these sounds is that, let's see if I remember this correctly. So you've got one sound effect here, it's just a simple knock sound effect. And then the other one is, it's just two different sound effects just alternating one after the other. That way it sounds a little bit more dynamic. So it's a pretty good start. So now we got that out of the way, we would have to also do the footsteps for Smo, who is being Rolf, So he's got his footsteps here, and I think that is an impact sound effect. Yeah, it's just a generic impact sound effect I took from here, and then I would simply I cut off like the front of it, and it's just the tail end of the sound effect. That way you don't have to have all that extra, you know, stuff in the back. It's just, you know, only a part of it. And then when I alternated them, I would pitch shift every other sound effect down. That way it alternates. So you got that. So far, so good. Then we get to Kevin as Ornstein and his sound effects for his footsteps. I think it's just the sound effect is a switch. Yeah, it's just like a light turning on. That's all that is. And then, of course, same thing with Smo. I would shift down the pitch of every other sound to have it alternate. So now we have this. You know, so far so good. It sounds a little bit more grounded in reality now. So the next step would be to add all the little, you know, whoosh sound effects for whenever they're swinging their weapons. So you got all these here. So, let's see. There's one for Ed, if he would attack. Come on. Okay, so you got that. And whenever I would do the whoosh sound effects, I would just pick one at random and just toss it right in there. I didn't even look to see which one I was doing, just to kind of make it a bit more random so it wouldn't seem like I was repeating stuff. Because they're all going to repeat eventually, but I figured if I at least just pick one at random, it wouldn't seem as bad. So you got the same thing for Rolf. And I believe with his sound effects, I'm trying to think, did I? Yeah, I did pitch shift all of his sound effects in general down a little bit. That way, even if you hear the same sound effect from different characters, it won't always be the exact same sound. So I've got that. And then also I have some reverb. I pretty much put reverb on everybody and everything, but I put more on, you know, Ornstein and Smo because they're bigger. I figured they would make a lot more noise, so I put more on them than I did for the player character. So there's that. So let's get those same whoosh sound effects for Ornstein. So it's getting there. It's sounding a bit more dynamic now. But most importantly, now we need the impacts. And of course, same thing with the whoosh sound effects. I would just pick one at random and just put it in. You know, just take that, drag and drop, drag and drop, drag and drop, just like that. Just pick one, whatever works. So let's get that on. Let's get this. And this. So really, this is like what I would call like the basic sound effects for this thing. You know, okay, your footsteps, your whoosh, and your impacts. So, you know, these two tracks here under every group is just all the random sound effects that I would use. You know, just whatever weird stuff I might want to do. Get that in there. And get the ones for Ed. Sounds good? Sounds good. Okay, and then the last thing I would have are the voices. Let's get that.
Take this!
So yeah, it's looking pretty good. And when I did these voices, I would just go to YouTube and just find random episodes of Ed, Edd n Eddy and record the audio through Audacity. Now, I don't want to call out any channels because I don't want them to get hit with any copyright strikes or anything, but I'm just saying, if you want to find Ed, Edd n Eddy episodes on YouTube, they're out there. You just have to look. It's no big deal. You know, just saying. It's all there. Right, so once you got the voices and the sound effects, pretty much in the home stretch. The next part is, of course, the music.
Smoke is on my
So when I did these, I recorded them from two places. I got one from the Big Picture Show soundtrack. Someone uploaded the entire soundtrack to YouTube, so I just downloaded that and I would cut it up and use whatever parts I needed to. And then the rest of it is music from the Misadventures, the video game. And you know, all those tracks are just various tracks from the show itself, so nothing new there. So with that being said, you got the sound effects, the music, the voices. At this point, it just comes down to the little extra details that I like to do. First of all, this, you know, the logo, Dork Souls. First of all, I recently found out that there's like a separate like series called Dork Souls. I didn't know about that when I made this. I was just, you know, assuming, oh, it's, you know, Dark Souls with Ed, and Eddie. What do you call it? Dork Souls. You know, it fits. But yeah, I just put this together in MS Paint in like 2 minutes. You know, I took out the A, I copied the O, and I pasted it. Done. You know, pretty easy. And then, let's see what else. Got my watermark here, in case someone tries to take my stuff. Not that I'm worried about that. But my favorite thing to do is probably the subtitles. I had a lot of fun with these because I got really lucky with Edborn, because the typeface that I used for the subtitles is not the exact same one used in the game, but it's pretty close. I just happened to, you know, scroll down the list until I find something that fits, and that one just happened to work. And I would do a similar thing with this game. And video, you know, whatever, same thing. But what I would do is I would take a screenshot from the game, just, you know, as a reference. So let's say, for example, you got this thing here. You know, my guests have finally arrived. So I would go to this place, go to text media, and I actually have a preset for the text that has the right size, the typeface that I use, the outline and everything, all that stuff. Let's see. See, I got one for Bloodborne and one for Dark Souls. So just put that in. Wait. Did that work? Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's something called Japanese text. I have no idea what that is. I've never heard of it, but it was about as close as I could get to the actual typeface used in the game, based on what, you know, pre-built-in fonts I already had. So let's just say right. So that's there. It's got the right color. It's not quite white. It's a little bit light gray. So I've got that. You know, the location, we'll do that in a minute. And then let's see what else. Background, outline. You know, I've got that set and everything. So once I have that there, I would go to event pan crop, and I do this because I didn't know about the track motion thing, where you could like take an entire track and just, you know, move it up and down. Because Vegas is kind of weird with whole panning and cropping and stuff. It's just like, you know, I thought I actually had to, you know, physically move the frame and not the actual items. So I've been doing it wrong this whole time, but hey, it works so far. So I actually have a preset for this as well. Where is it? Wait, I can't read. Where is it? Oh my god, there it is. Yeah, DS subtitle, that's it. So yeah, there it is. It fits. It's a little bit off. You can't really tell, actually. Actually, hold up. Just let me use something as an example. Solid color. Just toss that right here. Wait, why is this like that? I don't know. But anyway, let's just say that, you know, the text is about as close to being right as it could be. So there it is. And then I would always make sure to have it fade in a little bit and then fade out a little bit. That way it doesn't just flash on screen and then disappear. We want it to be, you know, smooth and look proper. And then I I actually made a little transparency thingy in GIMP where I actually would create, wait, what are you doing? Okay. I would create this gradient that would go from black to an alpha channel, I guess, and then that's how you have the little vignetting at the bottom of the screen to show where the subtitles are. That way they'll stand out against the background. And then of course I would do the same thing with the fade in and the fade out. So you got that. And then, just see how it plays out. Fades in, fades out. Yeah. That's it. For the most part, see, is there anything else? Not really. I'm just trying to think. Yeah. That's it. Like, that's the whole thing. Like, again, I would say this is easily my most ambitious editing project ever, even though really it's just, pacing things in place at the right time. But I was kind of treating this as like a sort of like amateur Foley project, though I'm pretty sure everyone else who made these probably did the same. But when I saw all the ones that were on YouTube at the time before I made these, I was just thinking, these are pretty good, but they seem a little bit too low random at times, and I kind of wanted to make things a bit more coherent. I wanted to try and get more mileage out of these sound effects. Again, which is why I was using, knocking sound effects and light switch turn, sound effects for footsteps and things like that. And I wanted to make it feel like, yeah, it's and sound effects, but it's, I guess more realistic, I guess is the term I would use. Just to make it all fit together, seem more natural. And, whenever I look at anyone's work, I always try to think, if I could do better at this, how would I do it? I try to put my money where my mouth is with these kinds of things. Because if I think I could probably do something, and I try, I might pull it off. You never know. It's a learning experience. There are still things that I wanted to do with this video that didn't end up in the final version. Like, I was trying to figure out how to do, like, these audio envelope things that could have you pan the audio from left to right. That way, when there's characters on the right side of the screen or the left side of the screen, I could have the audio pan from left to right and vice versa. But I couldn't figure it out at the time, so I didn't do it. But maybe for the next one, hint, hint, I might do that. So, yeah, that's something I'm hoping to do in future videos. So, yeah, that's about it. Dork Souls. It's like Dark Souls, but dorky.